Hello there, and welcome to the Connects2 channel. Now, every day we get a bucket load of questions, and let me tell you, the bucket is getting full. So we thought that it's about time that we emptied the bucket. So, let me welcome you to Connects2 Question Time. Now, this question has been asked quite frequently, so it's only evident that we answer it first. The question is, where do I connect the 12-volt ignition wire? Now, before we start, it's obvious to point out that if you seriously doubt your skills after watching this video, go to the garage. There's no point trying to be a macho man. If you don't know how to go about doing whatever we tell you, then a £50 to £100 tab is essentially going to be better than trebling it just because you messed up. Following this, you'll also indefinitely need one of these, a multimeter. The multimeter will enable you to find out where and how much current is given from a certain connection. So obviously it's paramount for this job. Now let's concern ourselves with the loom. In this video, we'll mainly concern ourselves with the 12-volt constant, the ground neutral, as well as the 12-volt ignition wire. Now, in certain cases, the 12-volt battery and the ignition are sometimes switched over, so the 12-volt constant will be red and the ignition will be yellow, but for the purpose of this video, obviously the red is the ignition. Now, this ignition wire needs to be hooked up to a source of 12 volts. When your ignition goes into accessory, this then gets automatically fed 12 volts. So, that being said, the first thing we need to do is look at your owner's manual. Because the most common places to attach this are an existing ignition live accessory or the fuse board, which with your owner's manual should be a piece of cake to actually find. It really is dead simple. I mean, this one is in Japanese and I found it. Now, if going for the fuse board, there should be a 12-volt linkage on there. So the first thing you need to obviously do is use the multimeter and check which one of those fuses is the 12-volt ignition. It's worth to point out as well that you really should check your pre-existing loom as well, because without you knowing, you could also already have a source of 12-volt ignition and it's there right underneath your nose, making it a hell of a lot easier because all you have to do is then just connect it straight into the cradle. Now, if you have no clue about this, then there might be a simpler way. It's actually this, the cigarette lighter. Yes, as stated, it gives out 12 volts, but how do we go about testing that it gives the ignition voltage that we need? Well, a simple test would be to take a simple phone charger or USB charger and plug it in. When turning your ignition on, if the charger lights, then we're looking good. If you turn it off and the light goes off, hey presto, you have an ignition accessory source. You can also check whether or not there is going to be a feed running through by using your multimeter, but make sure that you test it from the back so it's safer. Depending on your car, there could be a multitude of 12-volt ignition feeds, or there could only be one. The only solid advice I can give is always use the multimeter and go around the whole of the car and basically check every connection, whether it be your AC units, obviously the cigarette lighter, even the glove box light, but always check before you actually go ahead and attach, because if not, this could happen. Well, I hope this has answered the questions that you have on the 12-volt ignition wire. If you have any more questions, leave them in the comment section below. Also, subscribe because we're going to have a load more new material, more informational videos. So stay tuned, and until then, good luck.